Hi everyone, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. We are back with our analysis and our eye catchers from July. We had a month off last month just to refresh and rejuvenate, and we are back now, and hopefully we can kick off tomorrow with a few winners back on a Saturday. We've got selections tomorrow at Haydock and Sandown, so the two feature meetings. We will be leaving the Eclipse alone. I do wonder whether the French horse is the one to beat in that race, but I am leaving the Eclipse alone. We're primarily looking at the handicaps. In actual fact, I think all of these are handicaps that we're going to talk about. Starting off in the 205, the 1 mile 6 handicap for 3-year-olds. And there's actually two in this race that I like. I feel one of them is ready now, and I feel one of them will be better probably as a 4-year-old. The one that I feel is ready now is the horse that's actually come out top rated on our ratings, which is encouraging. That's Way of Stars. Now, you'll know I highlighted that horse as an eye catcher a few runs ago. I think when it finished second to Lady Vivian. Now, that form is obviously meant to be really strong. Granted, Lady Vivian didn't go and win at Royal Ascot, but she was running in the Group 2, Ribblesdale, where she finished 7th. She had looked pretty progressive up to then, and her win at Chester was a very good effort. I thought Way of Stars was more than just as good as Lady Vivian that day, and I think she might even end up, Way of Stars, and might even end up being better than Lady Vivian going forward. Way of Stars did then disappoint a little bit for us at Doncaster, finishing 4th in a handicap. Polestar was actually in that race as well, finished 6th. But Way of Stars probably did a bit too much that day, and they raced a bit too prominent for me. I feel the real interesting thing about this horse is they dropped back down into a maiden company and got the win on the board, got the horse to understand how to win a race and go forward and actually kick on and win, and won in really impressive fashion, beating Earnest Belief by 7 lengths. Now, was duly expected to win that race, went off 5 to 6 favourite, but still won by 7 lengths. Was still a very impressive, easy winner. And I think, although the horse went up £3, he went up £3 for winning that. I kind of feel that's where we would have been expecting this horse, 80, 88, 90, maybe even 95 in a few weeks' time. Running off 87 here. I think PJ just needs to sit behind a couple. Just let the horse get a nice run through most of this race. If they end up on that far rail, that's good. Hopefully PJ can keep Way of Stars covered up for a long time before making his effort. I don't want to see him coming out too early and hitting the front and being there as a target for others. I'm hoping that PJ just waits on Way of Stars. Let's just have a quick look. Is PJ good at this track? He's not bad, 10.99%. At this track, so he does ride it okay, and yeah, as I said, I'm hoping that he just tucks him in behind. I feel the horse will even get further in time. I feel it'll get 2 miles and could even be a nice hurdler of the future. With that in mind, hopefully Way of Stars is finishing really strongly. What are the odds about that horse? Let's have a look. Currently available at 8 to 1 Way of Stars. Now, it's really interesting. So often you see people tipping up horses, and they use prices that were available 6 hours ago. And they talk about those horses, give them the price from 6 hours ago, and go, well, you missed the price, unlucky. That's why I actually show Odds Checker at the time of recording the video. And you can see that Way of Stars is currently available at 8 to 1. Okay, let's move on to our second selection, which is going to be at Sandown. And we are going to pick one of our favourite horses. Favourite or frustrating, I don't know. Classic. I do like this horse. Finished second last time out at Sandown for us. He is quite frustrating. Doesn't always get the best of runs. Doesn't always find as much as you'll be hoping for late on. Personally, I don't think the small field, just the 5 runners, suited him last time. I actually like to see him covered up, given as much chance as he can to come through late on. That's what I want them to do again with Classic. Just wait as long as possible. Sean Levy's on. Obviously, he's riding pretty well. And yeah, we're back at Sandown, where at least he does have some good performances to his name, including finishing second to Too Tempting. He, as we know, finished second to Urban Lion. I believe he has also won. He beat Novus here back in July 2023 off a mark of 89. He runs off 87, so technically he's better handicapped than when he won here. Dropped back down to 87, finished second last time out as the favourite, stays on 87. Some of his performances, even his fourth before that has worked out pretty nicely. The winner of that race, My Cloud, obviously went to Royal Ascot and won at Royal Ascot, winning the Royal Hunt Cup. The form's there. He just needs to pick up late on. That's his big, the tricky thing with Classic. But I do want to be having a bet on him, because I think we'd be gutted if we missed out on him. And also, you can back a horse 3, 4, 5 times if you're then getting, 15 to 2 about a horse. I actually like to do horses almost on their own stake. So if I have backed Classic 3 times and then he wins for me at 5s, I'm +2. If I've backed a horse 7 times and he wins for me at 25s, I'm plus, 18. A lot of people they back a horse a couple of times, he gets beat, and they go, oh, I'm giving up on him because he's been beaten twice. And then he goes and wins at 7-1, and they're like, oh, I missed out on that. You're like, yeah, you missed out on 5 points on that horse. If you're that confident about a horse's ability, keep going until really it's gone and you know that they're not going to win another race. Even then, that very rarely happens, in my opinion. If you really like a horse, they end up dropping into a much easier race, still going off a big price, and then winning, and you're like, I knew that win was coming. Hopefully that win for Classic is coming soon, and hopefully it's tomorrow. And you see he is available at 15 to 2. We then go back to Haydock for the feature race of the day, the Old Newton Cup, and I can't get away from the favourite, and I will tell you that this is also our top rated horse on our ratings, Salari's Pass. So unexposed, stepping up in trip. I think that'll really suit. Went off 2-1 favourite last time out in the Zetland Gold Cup. Didn't get there in time. Liberty Coach won the race, who was obviously one of our eye catchers, a previous eye catcher. That was a great result for our eye catchers. Salari's Pass just didn't get there. Went off 2-1 favourite that day. They're stepping up in trip. He's only had, 6 runs. Started off over 1 mile and 2. If a horse starts off their career over 1 mile and 2, they're going to want 1 mile and 4, 1 mile and 6, 2 miles even. And we're only just about, I think because when they come back and won at Goodwood, over 1 mile and 2, they went, we don't need to go up in trip just yet. They then went to Redcar, hoping they could win that Zetland Gold Cup. It wasn't far enough in the end at this stage of his career. In a better quality race. Still ran okay for 3rd. Still off 94. Paul Moran takes over. I think we'll be seeing a much better performance from Salari's Pass. He'll be finishing strongly, and hopefully strongly enough. And I do think he's going to take all of the beating here, to be honest. He's that unexposed type that looks like there's plenty to come, whereas a lot of the others have done their winning and they've done their steps up in trip. This is their trip that they want. Salari's Pass is probably just getting there or on his way to his ideal trip, but hopefully he can take this race in en route. Available at 9 to 2. I think that's a fair price about him. Wouldn't surprise me if he got really well supported and went off even shorter than 9 to 2, around 3 to 1 sort of price for Salari's Pass. We move on to Sandown. We will come back to a race at Haydock, but there are no current odds at the moment, so we will skip that race and we'll go to Sandown first. For the 4:45 at Sandown, the 1 mile, 1 furlong, 209 yard handicap for 3-year-olds. Now, I really like this horse, Jupiter Ammon. Obviously, Asheen Murphy's got to make it back in time from the USA. I think he will. I really like this horse. Really like this horse, to be fair. Back over this trip in a handicap in off 76. I think that mark could look very, very silly. 2 runs ago at Chelmsford on his second run of his career. He went off 125 to 1 over a mile. Clearly the trip was too short. Did actually, was clearly outpaced, ran on a little bit towards the finish. The winner of that race, Arabian Story, has come out and won the Britannia Stakes. Okay, that was a decent maiden then, and Jupiter Ammon was just running on in behind. Last time out, they went to Windsor for a novice stakes, took on Narain. Now, Naran, I'm going to go Naran. Took on Naran, who was sent off 2 to 15, is still 2, that was making it 2 from 2 when winning that, Naran. And Naran had previously beaten Cajole. Cajole has since finished second in the Sandringham. That just looks very strong form. So, Naran had beaten Cajole. Naran has since beaten Jupiter Ammon. Jupiter Ammon clearly wants further. Again, was badly outpaced at Windsor, but ran on putt and beat everything else in the race. This mile and 2 trip is probably right on the short side for Jupiter Ammon. Probably wants even further. But off 76, off 76, could be so well handicapped that could easily win this race, even with the trip probably being on the short side. I think this could be one of those that he could be very, very interesting. I can see him improving massively, stepping up. There is the, what's the race at the end of the season? Is it the Melrose, the 3-year-old Ebor? I think we could see Jupiter Ammon in that. I think that's how good he's going to end up being. And then kicking on from there. Yeah, I really like him. Hasn't won a race, so the handicapper doesn't really know what to do with him. He's given him 76. He's slowly improving. He's on the turf now. He's in a handicap. He's over the right... Well, he's not over the right trip, in my opinion. I think he's over too short. But I think it will just be far enough that he can really put his best foot forward. Oisin Murphy just needs to keep riding. Hopefully he's not too jet-lagged from his trip to America. Just keep pushing away on this horse, and he will be flying at the finish. Let's have a look at the prices. Jupiter Ammon is available at 11 to 2. I think I'll go off favourite. I do. I think a Jupiter Ammon will go off favourite here. And if there is one horse in this race that gets absolutely smashed up, it'll be Jupiter Ammon, in my opinion. Because they'll go, he's now ready off 76 to run a really big race. We move on. We stick at Sandown for the last race at Sandown, which is the 5:15. The 1 mile, 1 furlong, 209 yard handicap for horses 3-year-old and older. And the horse that I like here is Arabian Light. Now, I looked at this race and I liked both Arabian Light and Best Adventure. I thought they both had decent form. Okay, Arabian Light was very disappointing last time out in the Royal Hunt Cup, but previously at Newmarket in the Suffolk Stakes finished a decent third when probably doing a little bit too much. That was over 1 mile and 1. This is up to 1 mile and 2, which I think will really suit coming back up to this trip. This is the trip that he wants. His 2 runs at Meydan probably suggested that, including when winning a handicap, beating Sean. Beat Sean that day 5 to 6, 4 to 5, 5 to 6. Sorry, went off 5 to 6. I think he's better than a handicap at Arabian Light. Over this sort of trip, 1 mile and 2, I think is the trip he wants. Last time out at Royal Ascot, probably too short. I looked at Best Adventure and I thought, oh, he's probably going to be the danger, the youngster, the 3-year-old, getting loads of weight is going to be carrying 2 stone less than Arabian Light. Is rated lower, is rated £18 lower, and then gets the 3-year-old allowance, so isn't as good a horse. Joe Fanning also takes the ride. Now that's really interesting because Joe Fanning is rubbish at Sandown. He's got a really poor record at Sandown. And that could be the difference between winning and losing here. William Buick knows how to ride Sandown. Maybe Joe Fanning doesn't know how to ride Sandown. And if that's, if he gets it wrong, Arabian Light, I think, is the one that's going to take full advantage and win this race. Let's have a look at the prices. Arabian Light is down here at 5s. whereas Best Adventure is 7-2. I think they should be closer in the betting, to be honest. I think it's out of those two. The unexposed, they're both unexposed, to be fair. Arabian Light has only had, 7 runs in his career. He's won 3 of them. On debut, he actually finished second at Newmarket. He went off 9-2. The winner went off 18-1. The winner was Ombudsman, who runs tomorrow and is the short price favourite for the Eclipse. Yeah, I just think that this horse is I feel that he might be a listed Group 3 horse running in a handicap again, back over the right trip, and I think that's the key here, the trip for Arabian Light. And hopefully he can take all of the beating here at Sandown. And finally, we go back to Haydock for a race that we don't currently have odds for. I'm hoping we can get a little bit of a price because the horse has disappointed the last twice. Disappointed maybe is too strong a word. The horse that I like here is Kingslin. Now, Kingslin has actually won twice at this track, beating Moskill in a listed race when rated 95, and has also won a Group 2, the Kazoo Temple Stakes, beating Twilight Calls when rated 108. Now, he's dropped significantly. He's clearly not the horse of old. He's down to a mark of 86. I thought his run on his first run back this season when 6th was a decent effort. I don't think he got the clearest of runs that day. Things didn't quite work out. He was probably a bit too prominent throughout. I'm hoping they give him a little bit, they ride him a bit more patiently tomorrow. Drop him out the back, or at least cover him up. Get him a nice run through and see if you can pick up late on. Similar to what Holly did last time at Chester, when I don't think the draw helped him that day. He was come out of tall. He came out of stall 10. That was probably too wide. He ended up in mid-division. Didn't get the clearest of runs. Ran on. Finished 3rd. Should get a clearer run at Haydock. Yeah, should definitely get a clearer run at Haydock. Can still be covered up. Weighted with. This is over 7, not over his usual 6. Get him to settle, and hopefully PJ can use his strength late on to get this horse to get up and go back forward, and hopefully get his head back in front. The last time he actually won a race was a little while ago. I'm just going back through his form figures. It was actually when he was winning the Temple Stakes back in 2022. Bit of a risk, bit of a gamble, asking a horse to, backing a horse that hasn't won for so long. But that was a Group 2. This time he's running in a handicap off 86. He's bottom weight. Last time out he went off 5-1. Anything around there, I'd be very happy with tomorrow. Anything around the 5-1 mark for Kingslin. So there are selections for tomorrow. We start off with Way of Stars, who just needs to be covered up at Haydock. I think he's very progressive. We then go to Classic, who does need to, can be a little bit unreliable. I'm hoping the bigger field allows him to get a longer toe through this race, and he can pick up strongly under Sean Leaving. Salari's pass, I think, is very unexposed. Would probably be one of my 3 tomorrow. In actual fact, he is going to be one of my 3 tomorrow for the NAP competition. I think there's plenty more to come from him, and over this trip and further, he'll be even better. Jupiter Ammon, another one in a handicap of 76. I think that's very low for him. He'll be much better than that. This time next year, I expect to see him running in better races. And his form actually hasn't been that bad in the novice events that he's running. Arabian Light needs to bounce back from Ascot, but goes back up in trip, which I think will really suit. And I think he's a better horse than the rest of these. And finally, Kingslin, who needs to win his first race since 2022. But I'm hoping he can here. Over this 7 furlong trip at a track that we know he does like. So let's go through. In actual fact, I think Salari's pass is going to be my nap. Jupiter Ammon is going to be my next best, and my third best will be Way of Stars. So they are my 3 for tomorrow and my 6 selections. Fingers crossed we can have a few winners, and it's great to be back recording these early analysis videos, or these analysis videos.